This is lesson 4 of the Ventway Sparrow. In this lesson, we will be highlighting the parameters of this miniature turbine EMS and transport ventilator. The Ventway Sparrow is set to default parameters for start volume ventilation. These are indicated in the initial ventilation parameters for regular settings and will be used unless clinical indication requires otherwise. The table shown indicates the default parameters and are based on the patient's known or estimated weight in kilograms. The parameters are breaths per minute, tidal volume in milliliters, i.e. the IE inspiratory-expiratory ratio, FiO2, the concentration of oxygen delivered in the gas, and PEEP. This is indicated in the table shown as an example. An adult male weighing 70 kilograms will have a BPM of 12, a tidal volume of 450 milliliters, an IE respiratory-expiratory ratio of 1.2, FiO of 21% as it's working off ambient air, and PEEP of 5 as a default setting. For the start of pressure ventilation, the initial ventilation parameters now include inspiratory settings measured in centimeters of H2O instead of requiring IE ratio. This is the amount of which is allowed when using pressure ventilation. This is indicated in the table shown. With regards to the alarm default parameters, these are shown in the table and are very specific to the patient with regards to pressure, high and low rate of breaths per minute, high minute volume as well as low minute volume. The PEEP levels are defined for all patient weights. The PEEP level will alarm if the PEEP value is more than 2.5 centimeters of H2O from the clinical value as shown on the table provided. The PEEP value on the ventilator is set on the patient breathing circuit, which has an adjustable PEEP valve built in. The PEEP value is then shown on the bottom of the user interface screen on the Ventway Sparrow. Caution: there can be a difference on the set PEEP versus the delivered PEEP on all ventilators. By adjusting the PEEP valve on the circuit, it is possible to optimise the delivered PEEP of the patient. The alarm default parameters for PEEP for low pressures is 5 centimeters of H2O. The leak default of the non-invasive ventilation parameter is either off or 100%. For invasive ventilation, this is 25%, which is set as a default but can be adjustable. The inverse IE ratio is set to on, and the low tidal volume range is set to 85% of the volume of the set volume. It is possible to use a high flow nasal cannula. This is capable of delivering up to 100% humidified and heated oxygen at a flow rate of up to 60 litres per minute. The ventilator can be connected to an oxygen supply. The Ventway Sparrow can adapt low pressure O2 enrichment either through an oxygen generator or through a wall pressure adjustable flow. Maximum pressure allowed flow is 25 litres per minute. Caution: only use the Innovitec pressure O2 oxygen enrichment system attached to the ventilator. When using low pressure oxygen enrichment, the user must manually change the FiO2 by checking the monitored FiO2 value on an external oxygen monitor used. Adjust the flow of oxygen to reach the desired value of FiO2. Then select the O2 enrichment option in the vent parameters. The FiO2 must be measured with a calibrated external oxygen analyzer. The oxygen enrichment device is filtered to the input of the ventilator and fully extended. It delivers low flow and with as little as 1 to 2 litres per minute, with the inspired oxygen concentration reaching as high as 50%. This makes for a very low consumption of oxygen and is ideal for lengthy patient transfers. Let's have a look at connecting the air inlet to the oxygen mixer. If a high pressure oxygen source is available, and a Novitec approved oxygen mixer can be used for delivering between 30% and 90% FiO2 to the patient. Measure FiO2 with a calibrated external oxygen analyzer. The oxygen supply pressure shall be based on the manufacturer's specification, usually 40 to 60 psi. The oxygen mixer is connected to the device. The oxygen mixer connector is especially threaded to fit on the top of the air oxygen inlet as shown. Once secured, the mixer dial can be increased by turning clockwise with the user interface facing the operator and decreasing by turning anti-clockwise. This concludes the 4th lesson in the series. Thank you very much.